Well, as our final guests enter the call, welcome to online open day at Cardiff Sixth Form College, or Cardiff Sixth Form Colleges, I should say. And thank you all so much for giving up your time today, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. It really is appreciated. If I could ask you, please, to mute your calls, just in case we do get any background noise whilst presenting. That would be fantastic. And obviously there'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end of each presentation. There'll be two presentations today, one all about Cardiff Sixth Form College in Cardiff, and one about Cardiff Sixth Form College in Cambridge. So lots to look forward to. I do apologise if I speak rather fast. It's because, generally speaking, I'm very excited. And so I'm sure that you can all understand and sympathise. Let me introduce myself first of all. My name is Tom Arrand. I'm the principal of Cardiff Sixth Form College. What's harder to explain is what Cardiff Sixth Form College in Cardiff actually is. On your screens right now, there should be a lovely picture of some very beautiful buildings, a mixture of historic and modern. That's Cardiff Sixth Form College, except it isn't, because those buildings don't currently actually exist. They're in the process of being built or refurbished. They will exist in September 2026, and we will be there in September 2026. But I actually think, strangely enough, that this photograph is a better representation of what Cardiff Sixth Form College in Cardiff is. 380 astonishing, phenomenal, bright young people, 380 hopes, dreams, aspirations, and sets of skills and talents. That's what the college is, and that's what we are. And ultimately, delivering the most outstanding educational provision to these phenomenal young people is what the college does, and it's why we exist. So I'm going to talk about both. I'm going to talk about the college as a concept, and I'm also going to talk about the future of the college in terms of its physical buildings and where we're moving to and what those buildings are going to be like. Now, most of you will know, I hope, that we have pretty bold ambition, which is our vision to be the best academic school in the world. In many ways, that's an ambition, that's a vision that we are realizing through our academic results and profile. In other ways, it's a journey, and it's a journey which I'll explain a little bit more to you all about this morning. You also are no doubt aware that there are two Cardiff Sixth Form colleges, one here in Cardiff and one in Cambridge, where my colleague, Dr. Julian Davis, is the principal. And we are one college. We're one college. We're on two campuses. And on those two different campuses, there's a slight variation in terms of what we offer, enabling us to offer a far more diverse range of subject combinations, and indeed, as will be explained to you later on in the call, different timings that you can start the courses. Anyway, what I want to focus on is the young people at the college. These astonishing young people and the astonishing things that they achieve with us. Now, on open days, whether in person or online, what we tend to find is head teachers, principals, or agents, executives saying pretty much the same thing about every school. They will say that this is a school that believes in academic excellence. This is a school that believes in pastoral care for each individual child. This is a school that offers opportunities outside the classroom to grow and to develop. This is a school which offers lifelong learning opportunities and careers in higher education skills and so on. They all say the same thing because what they're describing is exactly what a school is supposed to do, which is very good of them and very kind of them. And in over 25 years of working in education in some of the leading schools in the UK, I can safely say that the majority of schools in the UK do those things very well. But what I want to talk to you about is what it is that we do differently, what it is that we do that's special and unique and, dare I say, without sounding too overblown, what we do that's better. than other schools and colleges. Why is it, for example, that we're not only over 7% above the second school in the UK for A-level results, but we've been there for 15 years at the very, very top of the UK National League tables for A-levels. That's not just statistically interesting. That is, if you were to compare that, for example, to any achievement in the sporting arena, that's something which nobody else comes close to having achieved, whether it's Champions League football or Olympic titles or anything else. To be number one by that margin for so long means that we are doing something which is beyond just statistically relevant. And the fact that the Times names us as the Independent School of the Year for academic excellence suggests that when it comes to offering a level of teaching and learning experience and academic output that all schools are supposed to offer, Cardiff Sixth Form College clearly does it differently and, dare I say, does it better. And why is that? Well, I put it down ultimately to three reasons. The first is that we have experts in the classroom, experts in terms of their subject knowledge, experts in terms of their pedagogical skills, the skills required to be a teacher, and experts in the sense that they are always committed to developing their art, their craft, the science and the art of teaching, of instruction, adapting that to the individuals in front of them. They truly are expert deliverers. They are individuals, majority of whom are examiners and senior examiners. Indeed, 2 senior examiners sit on the senior leadership team. Majority of our colleagues have master's degrees, many have PhDs. These people are the first reason why the students at Cardiff Sixth Form College achieve over 7% higher than the school in second place in the UK. But the second reason is the students themselves. And we're very clear when we're looking to recruit and encourage young people to join this college that they need to make sure that they're the right students for this college. Are they committed? Are they absolutely committed and driven to the highest extent to achieve the very, very best that they can? Are they committed to intellectual development rather than just academic achievement? Academic achievement is, of course, the accumulation of grades, absolutely essential. Intellectual development is the development of an intellectual heart, an intellectual core, which means that you can stand up to scrutiny when in a fearsome academic debate, or indeed when you're in a situation where you're being interviewed for a place at a leading university. And the final ingredient of our academic success is our culture. The fact that we are a school which is entirely founded on a culture of ambition and aspiration, a culture where the international community means that students from Cardiff sit next to students from Shanghai, where students from Istanbul sit next to students from Moscow. And together we all learn without barriers, without any form of any reason whatsoever to consider anybody different or above or below anybody else. We're committed to the development of personal standards, not just the development of academic results. And that's the reason why for 15 years we have been at the top of the Champions League, at the top of the leaderboard for all educational institutions in the United Kingdom. The other thing that every school says that they do really well, and we indeed do really well, which I regard to be actually our best kept secret, is the quality of our pastoral care. When I say it's our best kept secret, we do all the things that all outstanding schools should do in terms of each student having an individual, a head of house, who's responsible for their development, their academic oversight, their support through the university application process. We also have house parents in boarding. We've got trained medical staff on site to care for the medical needs of the students. We have a wellbeing officer, a trained counsellor who can support students with more complicated needs. And we have an outstanding team of student leaders who themselves take on leadership and pastoral support positions. But when I say it's our best kept secret, what I mean is we're award winning. We are the current Independent School of the Year for International Student Experience. We are the current Independent Schools Association Boarding School of the Year. So actually, whilst we're nationally recognised for our outstanding academic achievements, in reality, I believe that it's our pastoral achievements that underpin, that are the foundation, if you like, for that academic success. And the fact that we are nationally recognised to be the leading school for boarding provision, the leading school for international student experience, that actually is the hidden reason why our students achieve such phenomenal things. Our boarding approach is essentially to prepare our students for university life. And you would be surprised what an impact it has to give students a safe, secure, university-style boarding experience in order to prepare them. And indeed, although we're famous for our academic achievements and the quality of the universities that our students attend, it is also down to the amount of time and effort and projection that we apply to our beyond the classroom opportunities. Famously, and in our most recent inspection report, a highlight is drawn around the amazing opportunities that our students get to develop their intellectual capacities outside of the classroom through our supercurricular program. Not just the fact that students have the opportunity to go on work observation placements and that we have about 50 different societies and clubs all geared towards expanding our students' academic interests, whether it's Model United Nations, whether it's NASA Club, whether it's medical ethics, whatever you are interested in, that is what we'll encourage students to be doing. But the fact that we also run an annual public speaking event, TEDx event, which is, I mean, as you know, you'll have all seen TED Talks on the internet, or we do one of those ourselves. The fact that we every year run at least one, and next year we plan to run 2 international citizenship experience opportunities. Last year we went to Tanzania, where a load of our aspiring medical students had the opportunity to do medical work observation in the developing world, as well as community work, as well as going on safari and doing trekking and so on and so forth. Very few schools offer those opportunities for aspiring medics. Not just do you get the opportunity to do medical observations in Cardiff, but also in the developing world as well. And our co-curricular offer is thriving. Our orchestra this year performed at the Royal Festival Hall in London. Every year we have numerous performing arts opportunities for our students on the stage, be that musical performance or musical theatre performance. Our sport is therefore essentially for purpose of great fun, but we do play competitively as well at football and netball and badminton. And the way that we view it is these things are what keep students on the straight and narrow. They keep students happy. They offer a really, really healthy outlet, and that's why we're determined to do them as well as anybody else. And finally, our careers in higher education provision is pretty famous. Let's face it. And the reason that it is because not just because of the amount of stuff that we do in order to get 80% of all Cardiff Sixth Form College graduates onto the top 100 universities in the entire world, not just in the UK, but in the entire world. Whether that's Hong Kong University, the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Ivy League schools, Yale, Princeton, New York University, Stanford, or Oxford, Cambridge, UCL, Imperial, LSE. 80% of our students go to one of the top 100 universities in the world. And it's not just because of the amount of stuff that we do with them. It's the fact that we're very strategic about it. We know, for example, from research done into what Russell Group universities are looking for, that the most important thing that a leading UK university is looking for is good quality written English. Good quality written English, which is why every single student at Cardiff Sixth Form College who joins attends English for academic purposes sessions. Now, not all students are required to continue those sessions, but we gauge the need in order to make sure that a student who might be an exceptional mathematician, an exceptional physicist, can also, when it comes to applying to a leading university, write English prose to a very, very high standard. 95% of Russell Group universities say that they focus on the need to be able to think and act critically, rather than just regurgitate information. Well, that's why we have critical speaking sessions for all students. Again, very, very strategic approach to our careers in higher education provision. Every single student will attend a critical speaking session in order to develop their ability to think and act critically, and so on. Evidence and a passion for the chosen. Well, that's why we have a club and a society for every single subject. In fact, for some subjects, 3 or 4 different clubs and societies, to be able to demonstrate a true passion for the subject that they're applying for. So that was actually a very extended introduction. I wanted to just make sure that you'd all heard from me what it was that makes Cardiff Sixth Form College special, because I genuinely believe that a school is about the people. It's about the people. It's about the high quality teachers who deliver a high quality educational experience to astonishing, brilliant young people. But I also want to explain about the future, about where we're going, and specifically Cardiff Bay, which is where we're moving to in September 2026. At the moment, we are situated in the centre of Cardiff. Beautiful city, a city which I could speak about passionately for ages and ages and ages, but I'll try to avoid doing that because I know that time is tight. But we're moving in a few months' time to these brand new buildings, which are currently being either constructed or repurposed. As you can see, hopefully my mouse will be visible on your screen. As you can see, they are a combination of historic buildings dating over 100 years and brand new buildings, which are being built right now in order to facilitate the new Cardiff Sixth Form College building, which will be opening in September, which I'm going to talk to you a bit more about. But before I do, let me talk to you a little bit about Cardiff Bay. Cardiff Bay is no more than a 25-minute walk from where I'm currently presenting from in Cardiff Sixth Form College right now. It's less than a 5-minute train ride, and the trains are very regular. It's on the waterfront. It's a beautiful Bristol Channel waterfront, and it's just absolutely astonishing. For the last 25 years, it's been completely redeveloped to create a phenomenal part of Cardiff, which tourists just can't wait to flock to. Some of the highlights are the Millennium Centre. This is the Opera House, where the Welsh National Opera performs, as well as the BBC National Orchestra of Wales, as well as all of the leading shows. Essentially, anything that you would expect to see in London, you can see in Cardiff. At this amazing, beautiful building, which was built around about the year 2000. And as you can see from the photographs, it's a huge capacity building, an amazing heart of culture in Wales. And actually, our new school quite literally backs onto this. It is, you could throw a tennis ball from a window in the new school to the Opera House, giving you an idea of just how beautiful and amazing a location this is going to be. We're also right next to the Welsh Parliament building, the Senedd. Again, built around about the year 2000, this beautiful building is where the Welsh Parliament resides. It's where all of the debates, and the First Minister will chair debates to do with the future of education and policy in Wales. A lovely fact about this building is the idea of the design is to make democracy transparent. So students will be able to enter the Parliament building through this door. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong screen. This door here. I've done it a number of times myself. And then go into the building here and watch the debates take place. Anybody who is a citizen of Wales is allowed to just go in and watch democracy take place, making it truly transparent, which is a nice feature, a nice little fact for you. There's a nice picture here of the bay itself. You can see this famous building, the Pierhead building, a very historic building where the ships would come into Cardiff Bay trading their coal and their wood and various other things, and that's where the taxations would be taken. There's a lovely hotel development here. You can see the Parliament building there, the Senedd, and the Opera House there. All of the shops and restaurants are along this side. So if I just jump forward slightly to this slide, you can see that when I visit Cardiff Bay with my family, which I do really quite regularly because it's very close by and it's lovely, we never have a problem getting a seat in a restaurant because there are countless restaurants to take your pick from, and we might be going on to the cinema, the Everyman Theatre, which is a beautiful little cinema in the Bay, or indeed we might be going on to watch a show in the Millennium Centre. But it's the heart of culture, it's the heart of lawmaking and democracy, and what we're bringing to that region is the heart of education. So side by side, culture, democracy, education, all in the same location in the capital city of Wales, making this a very, very exciting development. And for students who do want to go to the shopping centres of Cardiff, which I'm sure many of them want to do, they need not worry, because apart from the fact that it's only about a 25-minute walk, it's less than a 5-minute train ride. And in 2026, the brand new metro system in Cardiff is opening up, meaning that it's going to be even quicker than that. And the metros will be running constantly around the clock to just shuttle people into the centre of Cardiff, back to Cardiff Bay, and then all around the surrounding areas. It's been a long time coming. They've been building these metro lines for almost as long as I've been in Cardiff. And it's going to be a really, really exciting development for the city, putting Cardiff even more on the map than it already is. Let's zone in a bit then on the development itself. So you can see on this infographic the Opera House here, and then over here you have the Parliament building and the Pierhead building. So I want you to sort of get a sense of scale, and this is the new college. These buildings here are where the new college is going to be, both historic buildings and then a brand new construction which we're putting in the centre right here on your screen. So historic building here, and then in the middle will be the new construction, which of course does not appear on this Google Earth image because it hadn't been built when these images are taken. At the moment, it's about 3/4 of the way up from the ground. So that gives you a sense, that infographic, I hope, of how beautiful the bay is, but also where the college is in relation to the seafront here, Roaldale Plaza, this lovely open space here, all of the shops and restaurants along here and down here, and the opera building there, and so on. So we're right in the heart of Cardiff Bay. Now, I'm going to show you some images of what the new building will look like from the outside. So you can see here, you've got this lovely historic building with Cardiff Sixth Form College. That's going to be one of the entrances for our visitors and our staff to go in. And right next to it, you've got the brand new construction here, which will host our dining hall, which will be much, much, much bigger than our current dining hall. Our auditorium, which will be a multi-purpose space used obviously for assemblies, presentations, performances, exams. It'll also be an examination hall. It'll be a vast space in this lovely building, as well as state-of-the-art brand new science laboratories, all in this brand new building that we're putting up right here. And then if we look on the other side, here we've got the historic Corey's building, which is, I wouldn't like to say when it was built. I believe it was around about the 1820s that it was built. This is where the majority of our teaching classrooms will be located. As you can see, it's 5 stories, so there's going to be plenty of space for every single subject to be accommodated superbly there. Now, I want to be very clear with the infographics that I've got of the interior of the building. These are artistic impressions of the possibilities. These are not confirmed images of what the inside of the buildings will look like in terms of the decor. We have not yet, for example, chosen our lighting scheme, our color scheme, our carpets, our paint, and so on and so forth. So these are impressions of what the designers say, you know, we might choose. And in the next few weeks and months, we will be making those decisions. And hopefully very soon, I'll be able to show you some far more up-to-date images of what the new college will look like. But as you can see, this is the reception area where our students will arrive every day to learn in the best academic school in the world. Next to it, there'll be a little cafeteria area where they can grab a cup of coffee at the start of the day, or indeed during one of their breaks. Here's an image of what the visitors and staff reception may well look like. Certainly the staircase will look like that. It's a beautiful combination of the historic features of this amazing set of buildings combined with modern architecture and modern design. This is an impression of what the library and study area might look like. We've got these soundproof pods where our careers advisors will be able to have one-to-one meetings with students to discuss their university aspirations, serious areas for work, access to literature, and so on and so forth. And here we have an artist's impression of what one of our classrooms might look like as well. As you can see, beautiful original features in the flooring, modern state-of-the-art technical details in terms of large touchscreen TV presentation screens and so on. I don't have an impression of what the auditorium or the dining hall will look like, sadly, but I think you can allow your minds to wander and create these wonderful. The most exciting thing that anyone will do in their career, and I'm somebody who's worked in education for over 25 years and been leading schools for 6, 7 of those years. The most exciting thing that anybody can do is this. Which is why I warned you at the beginning, I might talk a bit fast because I'm very excited, so please forgive me. Here's another aerial view. This one won't move, don't worry. This is where the new school building will be. Sorry, this is where the new school building will be here. The images I've just shown you. Students will come out, cross the road safely at the crossing here, walk around the Millennium Centre, the Opera House, and then cross the road at the crossing here. And they'll come to this area here. As you can see, there's currently a hotel and a large disused car park there. I'm going to speak about what we're putting there. Now, this walk, which I've done hundreds of times in the last 3 years whilst being involved in this development, takes 3 to 5 minutes. I might walk slightly quicker than the average Cardiff Sixth Form College student, I know, but it's very, very close by. It's a lovely walk in a beautiful, safe area. And as you can see, the majority of it, apart from 2 level crossings, is in this beautiful open plan place where, in my opinion, the most impressive opera house building in the world is located. People who come from Sydney might disagree with me, but there we go. Anyway, that short walk to the area where this current disused car park is where this building is currently being built. And this is our brand new boarding complex. 17 stories, 425 beds. This is, I'm showing the National Director of the Boarding Schools Association round in 3 or 4 weeks' time. And he said to me, when I was speaking to him on the telephone recently, that he cannot remember the last time any independent school in the UK embarked on a project of this size. It is an astonishing project, a groundbreaking project, which nobody else is attempting. This building is currently there. I mean, it's being fitted out. They're doing the outsides of the building, but the frame is there, the construction is there, and it's going to be absolutely breathtaking. When it's finished, it will be the tallest building in the Bay, but I am informed reliably that taller buildings are being prepared for that area, so we won't be the tallest building for long. And this is the angle from the other direction as you face Cardiff Bay. This is what you'll see as you drive into Cardiff Bay. Cardiff Sixth Form College, this enormous, beautiful boarding house in all of its glory. Just a short walk from the school building. Again, artist impressions. There's no guarantee that this is exactly what it will look like in terms of the decor, but in terms of the layout, this is definitely what it will look like. This is the reception area for our new boarding house, completely secure. gated community. Nobody can gain access who isn't a member of Cardiff Sixth Form College. Here's an example of what one of our cinema rooms might be decorated like. Whether or not we'll have these exact furnishings is yet to be seen. And likewise, the gym. There's going to be a gym in the boarding house. This is something which I will be taking a personal interest in to make sure it's very well equipped. And what a facility to have. What a facility to have for our young people to enjoy in safety. And again, here's an impression of what one of our single bedrooms might well look like. We're currently working on the interior design right now, but essentially you get a sense from this image, not just of the size and the fact there'll be an ensuite room just round this corner for each student in a single room to have privacy, but also ample study space, storage space below the bed, above the bed, and in these large wardrobes here and above, and so on and so forth. And let me tell you as well, the views are astonishing. Every time I visit the new boarding house and I'm taken by the architects and the design team up to the very top, or even halfway up, the views that you get across the bay, across the sea, or if you're on the other side of the building, across Cardiff itself, are breathtaking. You can see as far as the Brecon Beacon Mountains. You can see as far as England over the Bristol Channel. It is just an incredible place, an incredible place. I just thought I'd include a quick cross-section of an architect's impression of the house, not just so you can see that we've also got this lovely outdoor space here with a half basketball court, plenty of recreational space outside for students to sit and enjoy each other's company. Again, completely gated, completely safe, completely secure, no access for anybody that isn't at Cardiff Sixth Form College, but also just to give you an impression of how we have twin bedrooms on this side of the building for our GCSE students, our year 10 and 11 students. I'll talk to you about the educational value of sharing at that age. I can talk to you about it very personally, actually. My son is in year 10 at a boarding school that isn't Cardiff Sixth Form College, a different part of the country. And he's very clear to me that if he wasn't sharing, he would feel incredibly isolated and lonely. Sharing is the opportunity to make friends. Sharing is the opportunity to meet people and to form those bonds and friendships. So twin bedrooms for our year 10 and 11 GCSE students, each with an ensuite, again, behind a doored wall to give them extra privacy, each with a twin, two beds, two workspaces, two sets of wardrobes. They're essentially single rooms without a dividing wall. They're going to be absolutely perfect for that purpose. Lots of communal space on each floor, lots of communal kitchens on each floor, and then all of these single bedrooms you can see on this side and here as well. Accommodating 425 boarders in total when we get to maximum capacity, which means that we'll have something in the region of 500 students in the college in total. I told you at the very beginning that at the moment we're around about 380. So we're growing into amazing purpose-built premises. And if I take you right back to the start of the presentation, when I said our ambition is to be the best academic school in the world, I think that you can see that whilst we're already doing that in terms of our academic performance, we will also be doing that in terms of the facilities that we have to offer these most incredible young people. And that's where I'm going to close. I'm going to close on that slide to bring you back to the main point, which is that this is the school. The school is these amazing young people. It is their hopes, it is their dreams, it is their aspirations, it is their ambitions, it is their skills, it is their talents. And the fact that we are now going to be able to give those amazing young people and the amazing young people whom you represent on this call today, the best facilities that we can possibly offer them in order to excel and to grow and to develop and to thrive makes me feel beyond excited and incredibly passionate about achieving this project, opening in September 2026 and welcoming the amazing young people who are represented by the people who've joined me on this call today. Thank you. Thank you all very, very much for listening. I wonder if before we move on to our presentation on Cardiff Sixth Form College in Cardiff, anybody would like to ask any questions at this stage, perhaps with with a hand up, or you can drop a question into the chat.
明天在屯門診所睇症就好，9至6可隨時過嚟攞。
Well, I don't see any hands up at this stage. So what I'm going to do, I'll stay on the call. What I will do is I'm going to hand over to the wonderful Henrietta, whom I'm sure the majority of you have met or know. Henrietta's going to talk to you a bit now about Cardiff Sixth Form College in Cambridge. Mr. Van has just asked, does the boarding school provide catered food? The answer to that, Mr. Van, is yes, indeed. 3 meals a day, every single day. Breakfast, lunch, evening meal, all served in the amazing new dining hall that we're building in the brand new building. And not just for all of our boarders, for all of our day students as well, are welcome to school for 3 full meals a day in order to make sure that happy learners have got happy stomachs as well. Right, I'm going to hand over to Henrietta, and she's going to talk a little bit about the 18-month course in Cambridge. Henrietta, thank you so much. Henrietta and I will take questions after her presentation. So anything that you'd like to ask, just think about it in the meantime, and then we'll be back for that. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Henrietta Lightwood. I think probably a few of you know who I am, but I'm the Global Director at Cardiff Sixth Form College. And I am very, very grateful for everybody coming to join us today from all around the world. We have some really exciting projects, and as you can see, what an amazing development that's taking place in Cardiff Bay. Well, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit really about another big development that's happening at our Cambridge campus. So for those of you who don't know, we actually have 2 campuses at Cardiff Sixth Form College, one in Cardiff and a second satellite campus in Cambridge, which just teaches A-levels and just STEM subjects. Quite a few of countries around the world actually operate on a different academic year. So they start in January rather than September. And rather than making students wait for 6 months, what we thought we would launch is a new 18-month, which is quite a cost-effective programme for families, which I think might help a little bit in the difficult times that we've had recently with VAT. So just to give you a bit of an overview of the new 18-month programme, well, it will only be run at our Cambridge campus. So it is only really going to be for STEM students or those taking subjects like economics, computer science, psychology. It will be 5 terms. So it will start in January 2026. So it starts this year. So if you have any students who are thinking that they might like to do an 18-month programme, this might be the answer for them. What we will do is that we will actually extend the year, the first year, by 2 weeks into July, because we need to get all of the teaching hours in that we require. So we'll actually have exactly the same numbers of teaching hours as our 2-year A-level course, but we're going to chop out things like revision weeks and extend the course to make sure that we can fit in all of the teaching hours. We will obviously naturally pick everybody up, just as we do at both of our campuses in September, from Heathrow Airport, which is where the majority of our students fly into. And rather than taking standalone AS exams, which is what we've been doing at our Cambridge campus, we're going to have end-of-year internal exams, because we feel that it might be a little unfair to sit our students, having just been with us for 2 terms, into big external examinations. So instead, we're going to look at end-of-year internal exams. However, there will obviously be the full A-level exams at the end of year 13. Now, slightly differently between our Cardiff campus and our Cambridge campus is that in England, we run a linear A-level course, whereas it's modular, with ASs halfway through at Cardiff. So all the exams will be taken in full in May and June of, well, if they were starting this year, in May and June of 2027. Now, what we're going to do is start it right from the beginning for our new students joining in January, because obviously they haven't done that first term. So we're going to teach them separately in the first year in a small cohort of about 10, 12 students, so that they're starting right from the beginning in every single subject that they would like to study. And then, of course, in the second year, we can join them with the existing students who started in September to increase the cohort, if you like. It will be small class sizes because we want to make sure, a bit like when we started our Cambridge campus, we want to make sure that the course is really, really going to work well. And so we want to kind of make sure that we have a very small cohort to start with, if you like. At our Cambridge campus, when we moved to Cambridge, one of the reasons why we chose Cambridge really was because obviously when you're the top school in the UK, the standard of teaching is really, really vital. So when we were employing our staff at the Cambridge campus, and you'll see some of them here, the first is the principal, Dr. Julian Davis, Chris Sweet, who's the academic secretary, the house parents, for instance, heads of houses. We only really employ very highly qualified teaching staff. Many of these have got PhDs themselves or master's degrees, for instance, and they're very, very experienced. They've often had many, many years in teaching. So it just means that we know that we're getting the quality of teaching that we need for our pupils, because they don't just follow the curriculum, they go well above the curriculum in each of the subjects that they study. So as I said, it will be exactly the same contact time per subject as the September start. There'll be 22 weeks teaching in the first year. And the curriculum is actually exactly the same, really, in both our Cardiff and our Cambridge campuses. In Cambridge, we follow the EDUCAS board. In Wales, we follow WJC, which is part of EDUCAS. So quite a lot of the heads of department will liaise. For instance, the heads of biology might liaise together, the heads of chemistry will be liaising together. And we share a lot of resources online. So we have an enormous online library of resources. The subjects will be taught exactly on the same timescale, with exactly the same resources and support. And we will have bi-termly exams. So at the moment, we have exams every half term and at the end of term, and we'll be doing exactly the same as that for our 18-month course. Every day, students can talk to the academic staff, get some one-to-one support. There's time allotted to make sure that people can do that. So if there's any questions or anything people don't understand, they can get the one-to-one support and guidance that they need. Now, in terms of academic structure, again, we really, as the top academic school, wanted to go to the top university city because we do a lot of work within the community and with Cambridge University. Now, for those who have not been to Cambridge, and I'm sure many of you actually have been to Cambridge, whether you've been taking summer school groups or whether you've had students starting at different Cambridge schools, for instance, it really is the kind of Silicon Valley of the UK with the top IT, pharmaceutical and research companies. Now, this is really helpful for our business students, for our medic students, for our computer science students who want to gain work experience. The campus is about 116 students. There's about 60, just under 60 in each year group. So kind of 50, 60 in the first year, 50, 60 in the second year. And as I said, it only teaches A-level and STEM focused subjects. And every activity at our Cambridge campus is geared and positioned towards 16 to 18-year-old STEM students. These are the subjects that students can choose at the Cambridge campus: biology, chemistry, computer science, which is only taught at our Cambridge campus, economics, further maths, physics and psychology. And as I said, the exam board is EDUCAS, and it gives people really, really strong positioning for top university entrance. So if we just look at this year's degree choices, really, from our Cambridge campus, 29% of our students went on to study healthcare related subjects: medicine, dentistry, veterinary science, biomedical science. 29% also went on to business subjects: economics, finance, management, computer science, those kinds of subjects. 3% went on to natural science. 30%, which is a really big cohort, go on to study engineering, architecture and physics. And 6% went on to psychology and social sciences. So you can see, obviously, you've got a STEM cohort, exactly the kinds of careers that people are then looking to go on to at very, very top universities. And 81% of our students at our Cambridge campus go on to Russell Group universities. Not all our students go to the UK, of course. Some will go to other universities around the world. Now, they have a very in-depth university preparation programme, and Dominic Fuge, I think, who some of you may have met, who's the head of careers and university preparation at Cambridge, has just written the new book on the new personal statements, which are coming out in September 2026. Very interesting book. Do have a read of it. It's available on Amazon for those who would like it. But the university preparation course, which we do extremely well at both our campuses in Cardiff and in Cambridge, is actually a step above, I think, most of the other schools, certainly that I've worked in, the kind of more traditional boarding schools, because all of our students are aiming for very, very top universities. So it starts off, obviously, it's very much one-to-one. Every student has got a different career path. They're looking at different universities, different courses, different modules. So it has to be done one-to-one. And we take people through the UCAS process. We also help them prep for admissions test preparation, whether that's the UCAT, whether that's STEP for maths, whether it's the PNAT, the LNAT, all those specific aptitude tests that top universities are looking for when they're actually looking at the differences between students. We'll help people obviously with things like mock interview practice and study skills, because again, kind of communication skills, entrepreneurship skills, leadership skills, all of those things are very, very important. But actually being able to convey to the different university professors about why they should take you and why you're a step above other people is a skill and something that we help our students with. The personal statement, as I said, changing in 2026, 80% of it is going to be on super curricular. So it's a bit of a change. There's 3 different questions that students will be asked, but they're really looking for students to show a passion for the subjects that they're wanting to study and that they have gone above and beyond in that subject to really, really explore it. So that is a big area of focus for us actually at both our campuses. We will have lots of group discussions and practical workshops, and we take our students to University Open Days and invite universities through our cake and juice events back into Cardiff Sixth Form College, Cambridge, to come and explain about their courses and what they offer our students. And we also help them with any scholarship events that might be available at different universities. So there's kind of some examples of a few that were invited recently. For instance, St George's Grenada for medicine, Imperial College, there was a big university fair, and there was a big university, Cambridge University, personal statement masterclass. So they've been to those kinds of things recently, again, trying to give those students the edge above other students. Now, we have quite a few of our students who go on to Cambridge University for a variety of different courses. So they are also invited and come in bi-termly to come and mentor our students, which is a fantastic thing because they're just above our students in terms of where they are, for instance, and they can talk about the practicalities of different lectures, what their experience was like when applying to university, how the interviews went, how they felt the aptitude tests went. So they give a really, really good personal idea about what it's like going to a university and how to apply it for our students. As most of you know, obviously, both Oxbridge and medical degrees are an early application process. They have to be in by the 15th of October. So we need to give people specialist preparation for those, whether it's critical thinking, for instance, whether it's particular work experience and volunteering opportunities, whether it's talks by different professionals, to make sure that they're really, really well prepared, because both those courses are extremely competitive now in the UK. And to get into them is tricky. But we sent 50 students across the 2 campuses last year onto medicine. We're extremely good at it, and the staff are extremely experienced. Now, in terms of one thing that happens at the Cambridge campus, which is slightly different to the Cardiff campus, is that all students at the Cambridge campus actually apply by the early deadline of 15th of October, even if they're not doing medicine or they're not sitting for an Oxbridge place. And the reason for this is that it kind of positions them as very, very top students. And interestingly, last year, in fact this year as well, already 1/3 of students, 37%, had at least one conditional offer from a Russell Group university by the 14th of December, by the day before. These are the kinds of universities that they had offers from, Birmingham, Exeter, Leeds, Manchester, Newcastle, all of those very top Russell Group universities, and for very tricky subjects like biomedical science, chemical engineering, computer science, really, really big kind of heavy subjects that they'd already got an offer in the bag the day before the early deadline, which of course gives the students tremendous confidence, and an idea about where they're going after Cardiff Sixth Form College. Dr. Julian Davis has brought in a really innovative programme called the Cambridge Edge. And the Cambridge Edge is basically a world-class supercurricular offer, which enables us to tap into the vibrant academic and technological life of Cambridge. It gives students a lot of different opportunities, whether working in hospitals, whether actually going to Silverstone to see some of the Formula One racing, whether it's going to some of the very senior lectures at Cambridge University. But the kinds of activities that the Cambridge Edge programme, which is designed to give Cambridge students the edge over other students by being in Cambridge, is university lectures, which they go and attend, for instance, at Cambridge University. We bring in a lot of leading experts to talk to the students. We get them involved in work experience from very, very leading employers from that real kind of Silicon Valley mix of different companies. And we have the bespoke Cambridge University Alumni Mentoring Programme. And we take our students a lot to different scientific and engineering type sites, so they can really see in practice how engineering works, how computer science works, how medicine works. So, as I said, they visited UCL Imperial LSE recently. There's been the cake and juice events which take place at the college where the universities come in. So really interesting programme. And just looking at that in slightly more detail, if you look, and I pulled these together from the Cambridge Edge programme, if you actually look at the university lectures that the students at our Cambridge campus attended this year, they are incredibly impressive. 2 of them actually were given by Nobel Prize winners. So whether you've been to parasites and their adaptation to their hosts, for instance, if you've been to see cancer early and in Unite, what numbers tell us in epidemiology, economics to predict COVID cases, all these are incredibly academic lectures, which really give our students a very wide idea of things that they can talk at, both within their personal statements and in their university interviews, and a big understanding of the subjects in which they're going to study. They're incredibly impressive. And what a privilege, actually, to be able to go to Cambridge University and listen to some of these outstanding people who are world leading in their subject talk to our students. It's an incredibly lucky thing that they can do that, and it's incredibly well organised by the team at the Cambridge campus. So in terms of kind of some business visits and events this year, again, I pulled these together to give you some example, for instance. So the medics have been off to the Rutherford Appleton laboratories. As I said earlier, the engineers went to Silverstone racetrack to see how the Formula One cars can move so quickly around that racetrack and do the changeovers. The lawyers have been off to Cambridge Magistrates Court. We've been to the History of the Whipple Museum of Science, which is an incredible museum, world-leading museum, which shows lots of different discoveries in science. Computing and cybersecurity at Bletchley Park for our computer scientists, for instance. We've been to the Freud Museum for the psychologists. Really fantastic lot of trips that really bring what people want to do to life. And show real excellence, because Cambridge is so well positioned. It's only 50 minutes north of London, and it's very, very easy in terms of transport to get around. So it means that our students can really go and discover some of the real kind of world leading events and things that are taking place. So what kind of career skill development? Well, our computer scientists have been off to the National Museum of Computing workshops, for instance. The psychologists went off to the Freud and Dreams workshop. And the medics went off to the Hunterian Museum to do a workshop there. We had how to build a nuclear reactor. One of our students actually built a nuclear reactor as his EPQ project. Incredible project. The Institute of Astronomy, for instance, critical thinking, pre-university courses, all of those things which really help position our students as those very, very top people that leading universities want in highly desirable careers. So we also do a lot of work, for instance, with Duke's Education. And Tom was speaking earlier about one of some of our students who are performing in London. Well, we do a lot of work as part of Duke's Education. We're very fortunate to have a company that has nearly 80 schools across the globe. So we can do a lot of events together. So A-List, for instance, is our US university provider, for instance, and they help any students who want to help with with preparing to go to the universities in the US. We've had a generative AI course, really important for our computer scientists and our business students going forward. Duke's leadership event, really kind of, using all the kind of different skills that we can have within the different Duke's schools. We've had a nuclear technology symposium. We've got summer work experience programs through our Invest In provider. Our Oxbridge applications, they will come and help speak to our students about applying to Oxford and Cambridge. And for those that want to do medicine or law, the Medic Portal and the Law Portal, Dukes owns both of those, and they give amazing guidance on, MMI mock interviews, for instance, for things like the UCAT. Really, really helpful. They don't just advise our students just get it for free, but they actually, they work with schools all around the globe. Now, many of you will know Investin, for instance, which is also owned by Dukes Education, which offers 15 different career type programs. They've been in to talk about investment banking, which has been a great one for our finance students. And we also have a Renaissance Scholarship Programme, which we take in turns to host at different ones of our colleges. And it was hosted reasonably recently in Cambridge, actually jointly by Cardiff Sixth Form College and one of our sister schools, St Andrews in Cambridge. And Cardiff Sixth Form College has hosted it, the Institute of Education in Ireland has hosted it, Rochester Independent has hosted it. All of our schools have hosted it at different times to give our scholars, slightly different and very interesting experiences, but across our group. Just wanted to give you some ideas also of some recent work experience. Now, it's quite difficult for under 18-year-olds to get work experience often, but we think it's really, really important for our students to actually see in real life the kind of careers that they're going into. So we've done a 2-day event, for instance, at Cambridge University Teaching Hospitals, which our medics went to. We've had a speech and language therapy work observation. We've been on the Big Biology Day. We've taken our students to the UK Atomic Energy Authority, for instance, fantastic for some of our engineering students. The Judge Business School helped our lawyers, for instance. We've been to Centre of the Cell at University College London. ARM, one of the big computing companies, for instance, which is based in Cambridge, to talk about the future of computing. You get the ideas. It's really amazing, some of this work experience that people are getting at very, very, very top businesses. Really quite staggering. As Tom was saying, of course, I think it's very important that people can relax, and there's a whole host of clubs, activities, sports, music that goes on at the Cambridge campus in addition. We use local facilities for our sports halls, for instance. Most of the students are members of different gyms. We also kind of run 2 big sports days a year at the Cambridge campus, so sport is really well looked after. In fact, a couple of the students at some of our Duke schools are actually playing professional football at Cambridge United at the moment. So, if it's something that people do at a different level, the nice thing about being in cities is that you're able to utilise different things that are happening, whether it's ballet dancers, whether it's good golfers, whether it's good sailors. In fact, we've got a potential sailor coming to visit our Cardiff campus because it's in Cardiff Bay next week, in fact, from one of our agents. So it's very helpful, I think, particularly for slightly older students between kind of 14 and 18, that they can also access the amazing variety of facilities that there are, not just within our colleges, but also within the local surrounding areas. So if we look at some of the university destinations from our Cambridge campus 2025, as you can see, they've been to a lot of the G5 universities: Imperial College, University College London, Cambridge. They've been to lots of big G5 Russell Group universities like King's College. Some have been abroad to places like Georgia Institute of Technology or the University of California. So it really just depends. Some have been to the University of Hong Kong. I'm sure there's some of our Hong Kong agents, and welcome, on the call here, where nearly most of our students will go on to study medicine. So it's a really wide variety of different destinations that our students go on to. And so our careers team needs to be incredibly experienced in actually knowing and understanding what is going on in those universities to give our students clear and good guidance when they're doing their applications. So just to give you some ideas of career choices, bear with me, it's just loading. So here we are. These were the 2025 Cambridge degree choices, for instance. So as I was saying before, there's a lot of things that people were wanting to do. They're nearly always going to be STEM focused because it's a STEM focused college, but they're going to those very, very top careers. Now, in terms of boarding, we in Cambridge board at a place called Tripos Court, which again has been completely purpose built, and again is very secure, a bit like our new buildings in Cardiff, with lovely big grassy areas in the centre. And every student at the Cambridge campus, a bit like they do at the Cardiff campus, will have single on suite bedrooms. And there's a picture of one there, if you can see the white picture there. They're absolutely lovely facilities. And again, they're kind of positioned in pods of between kind of 6 or 8, depending. And each pod has their own kitchen and kind of small common room. And then there's a big common room downstairs. There's laundry facilities. The students tend to eat their breakfast in their kitchens because they all share, between 6 and 8 of them share their own kitchen, with the house parents on hand to help. And then they have their lunch and their evening meal at our own purpose-built canteen in Cambridge, which is right near the college. It is about a 10 to 12-minute walk from Tripos Court to our main academic buildings. You can't really build a whole campus in the middle of Cambridge, being a medieval city. So obviously, things are positioned a little bit like when you go to university, where people walk between buildings. But it's an incredibly safe place and very beautiful city to walk around. So it's really, I don't think, hopefully not too much of a chore for our students. So if I just move on now to some of the college facilities, sorry, bear with me, it's taking a while to move forward. It's just freezing. There we are, just coming now. So if you look in the centre there, the kind of heritage building, there's 4 stories there. That is the main academic block of classrooms and common rooms, and you can see one of the common rooms there on the right-hand side. In a separate building is another whole development, which is called Clisson Road, which you can see just looking a bit further down, the white buildings there. And that's where we have our canteen, that's where we have our medical centre, and a lot of the science laboratories. Just behind the college is that beautiful park that you can see on the right called Parker's Piece, which is where we hold our sports day, for instance. And it's a lovely area that students can wander out at lunchtime, particularly in the summer, go and have a break at lunchtime and wander around the park, which is so nice. And we use the church here a lot for big presentations. When we're bringing in a lot of universities or holding exhibitions, we will take over the local church, which is about 3 minutes walk from the academic building at the top. So you can see there some of the facilities at the Cambridge campus, which is a smaller campus than the Cardiff one. Cambridge itself, beautiful city, absolutely stunning, as you've probably seen before, people punting down the River Cam, which runs right the way through the centre of the city. It's home to the 31 different Cambridge University colleges, for instance. It has beautiful, lovely shopping, nice markets, lovely festivals in the summer, lots and lots of fantastic culture, great work experience opportunities with Apple and ARM and Google and others all located there, for instance. And of course, it's a real centre for academia. You wander around Cambridge at times and feel like someone is discovering some amazing new kind of cure for cancer or something similar. So really, I think, again, it's probably just worth briefly reminding people in terms of our admissions process. And this is for both colleges. But you to apply, basically, you can fill out an application form on our website. It's all done online. And then you can choose whether or not you want to attend the Cardiff and the Cambridge campus, until, of course, they're full. And then one of the 2 of them might be full. What we actually need is a latest school report, passport and birth certificate, and we then ask families to pay a registration fee of £300. For A-level students, and this is obviously what happens at the Cambridge campus, they take entrance exams normally in the 4 subjects that students want to study for A-level plus an online reasoning paper, and they're required to have IELTS 6.5 for our September start. There are merit-based tuition fees scholarships available, limited amounts up to 50% of the tuition fee. So people are very welcome to apply for those as well. They take harder scholarship exams, as you can imagine, and they have responsibilities within the college to be role models and to represent the college. So it is kind of a requirement of our scholars, definitely, to do that. So it's a fairly simple admissions process. I hope that is easy for everybody to follow. Now, if we look at the costs, for instance, one of the things that's very good about the 18-month programme, of course, is that in the first year it will only cost £48,000 instead of our annual fees, which are £72,000. So it means that it's a lot more cost effective for people, and people are very, very welcome to apply for a scholarship on top of the fact that it is a cheaper price for the 18-month programme. So it gives you a really kind of good idea there, exactly really what is happening at our Cambridge campus. And as Tom said, the ambition for Cardiff Sixth Form College generally is to be the best academic school in the world. And this year, as he said quite rightly, we were 7% above the competition. And although I don't have access, unfortunately, to all the A-level results around the world, I would think that pretty strongly puts us actually as the best academic school in the world. Thank you.
Well, Henrietta, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who's joined today. There are a few questions in the chat, so I think Henrietta and I will share responsibility for answering some of these. So, oh, one person's asking to just leave. Horse riding sessions. How suitable would the college be for a very academically able student, but very fond of horse riding at the moment? That's a really, really good question. Now, while I've never actually been asked the question directly about horse riding, and I will come to my answer on that, what I can say is that we've had students from all over the world who have been exceptional in another thing. 2 years ago, I remember we had twins, a boy and a girl from Hong Kong, who were ranked number 3 and number 8 at table tennis in the whole of Hong Kong. And one of the questions they asked when they joined was, will we be able to carry on with our table tennis? And the answer I gave with that is, we'll do our best. We'll do our best to find the way for you to continue to excel in the thing that you've chosen to excel in outside of your academic subjects. We've had this year a student who's a part of the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain, and the commitment that she has to show to that, going to London most weekends to rehearse in some of the best concert venues in the whole of the country, require an astonishing amount of self-discipline, which our students have. Now, I've never had a competitive horse rider, show jumper, whatever the skills are at the college. And I'd give the same answer is, well, let's find a way. Let's find the solution. Let's find out where the nearest stables are. And I think I know the answer to that question, actually. I think the nearest stables are in Llandaff Fields, which is about a 2-mile walk from where I'm currently sitting. So a short bus ride. Whether or not that means that they're of the quality, because I don't know much about horses, but whether or not that means they're of the quality required for a competitive rider to be able to continue, I don't know. So let's find out. Let's work together and find out. And I'm sure if you speak to Henrietta or Michelle, our admissions manager, who's on the call as well, we can help you to find out.
I think I did actually at one point look and find that there was 3 horse riding stables in Cardiff. So I think there hopefully should be plenty, if someone wants to ride. And as Tom said quite rightly, we've had national ballroom dancers, we've had national hip hop dancers, gymnasts, cross-country runners, things that are not, necessarily academic, but exactly, we'll find a way. We've had very good ballet dancers, Tom, as well, haven't we?
Yep, absolutely. Highly, I mean, some of the students here are just the most astonishingly talented young people, whether it's music, golf, athletics, etc. And we will always find a way. We will always find a way. Someone's asked, what are the chances of the Cardiff campus project not being ready for September 2026? Well, there's always a chance. It's vanishingly slim. I'm on site, well, most weeks, but I have a full site meeting every month with the builders, the designers, the architects, and so on. And everything is on track. Everything's on target. I suppose, not being particularly experienced in building, many of the people on this call will have more experience than I do. All it takes, one dramatic weather event in January, February might put us back by a few weeks, perhaps. But it doesn't matter. We've got this building. We're perfectly secure. There's no chance of there not being a Cardiff Sixth Form College in September 2026. And yeah, there is no reason whatsoever to believe that building will not be opening in September 2026. I have absolute assurances. I'm seeing it once a month. I'm seeing the progress being made, and I'm very, very excited. Somebody else has asked, will the specialist prep session for Oxbridge and medicine degrees and mentoring sessions by Oxbridge alumni be available for Cardiff campus too? Absolutely, yes. What Henrietta described for for Cambridge, with the exception of the Cambridge Edge, which we have as our super curricular programme, obviously in Cardiff, not in Cambridge. Everything else that we do with Duke's Education, with the Medic Portal, the Lawyer Portal, with Investing, with all of these amazing specialists, we do it here as well. I think if anything, and I don't want to sound too sarcastic, I think our students sometimes get a bit sick of how much we do when it comes to university preparation, advice and guidance and so on. But we do all of that as well. But thanks for asking. And thank you, Ronnie. Yes, it is a very, very exciting time. I think that you can probably tell how excited we are. Would anyone else like to ask any questions, either in the chat or by popping up a hand? And what about any of our wonderful sales team, Natalia, Gianluca, Vicky? Anything that you've been asked recently that you'd like to sort of throw open, which might help us to be able to answer here?
Well, thank you for this presentation, Tom. I think it was so exciting to hear directly from you about the plans. We do have a couple of students and parents on the call, at least we did have them, who are offer holders for Cardiff. So let's see what their feedback is. At the moment, we would very much want to share the recording of this meeting. Globally, there were lots of people who were interested but couldn't attend. But I think it was a successful presentation, a successful event, and I'm beyond excited about September.
Thank you, Natalia, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. And I love your backdrop image. Fantastic image of Cardiff Bay there, the Pierhead building in the background. It looks fantastic. And the weather is always like that in Cardiff, trust me.
Always sunny.
We shall make sure that we share a recording of this presentation for what it's worth. Most important thing for you all to do is just keep in touch and keep in touch with whoever your contact is, Tony, Natalia, Vicky, Henrietta, Gianluca, or on the ground, Michelle, of course, Mel, that many of you will have corresponded with. And I love hearing from you all as well. So just drop us a line. I'm sure we can answer any questions. We want to work together and we want to make sure that you get all of your questions answered and feel completely reassured when you make the commitment or encourage people to make the commitment to join this amazing, amazing school. So thank you all very much for your time today and really, really enjoyed presenting to you. And thank you, Henrietta.
Yes, lovely. Thank you, everybody. Lovely to see you.